Hi everyone, Slick here, and welcome back to Learning Magic the Gathering. You're here because you want to learn how to play MTG. And I'm going to explain to you two different ways, or two of the ways that most people are playing Magic the Gathering. You're going to hear many people now playing Commander, which consists of 100 cards. Individual 100 cards. The only duplicates would be lands because, again, as you know, we need lands in order to summon our creatures and everything else that's in the deck. But your commander, along with every other card, you're only allowed one of each card in the deck. So that is commander. And then the other is 60 card, which is the way that you should learn. 60 card should be what you learn from the beginning in order to actually learn how to play the game. And that's what we're going to be focusing on. With 60 card, you're allowed up to 4 of the same card in each deck, unlike Commander, where you're only allowed 1 other than lands. So we're going to go ahead and push that to the side for now. With 60 card, or with any type of deck, when you're making your own type of deck, you should have somewhere roughly around 40% of lands, because lands are the most important thing in the deck, because without them, you can't do anything. So usually with the 60 cards, you're going to have somewhere between 20 to 24 lands in it, depending on the play. If you have creatures, sorcery spells, instants, enchantments. If your deck costs it's cheap monsters, then you can kind of go with less lands. If you have ones that are more powerful, higher mana cost, you would want more lands. 60 cards. 60 card is basically the rule. You can use a little more, get a couple more cards in there if you have stuff you want to add in, but just remember, if you are adding more cards into it, you should be adding more lands, because the more cards you have and the less lands you have, it's going to be a problem when it comes to trying to pull lands that are out of it. So with that being said, I want to show you how we set up. So at first, you're going to go ahead and shuffle the deck. However you're going to shuffle it, you want to make sure that it is shuffled. You want to make sure that your lands, they're not fully stacked in there, because if you draw a hand that's full of lands or full of monsters, it's going to be terrible. You are allowed to what's called mulligan. What mulligan is when you draw your first hand, which your first hand is going to be of 7 cards. So if you draw your first hand, and rule of thumb, if you have 2 or less mana, you'll usually want to mulligan unless you have low cost creatures. You definitely want to mulligan if you have no mana, and mana, like we described in the last video, is lands. Your lands turn into mana, and the mana is what you use to summon your creatures. So remember, at the very top here is what you use to summon your creatures. In this case, this is 2 forests and 1 other, but I like to call them broccolis. 2 broccolis and 1 other, okay? So your lands, when you tap them, they turn into mana. They go into what's called a mana pool. Just picture it as it's sitting there floating, just waiting to be used in order to create your creatures. So we go ahead and we shuffle everything here. Now, as we said before, if you don't have a good 7-card hand when you draw it, you can go ahead and mulligan. Mulligan lets you put the cards back into the deck, then reshuffle. The problem is, and it depends, you can house rule it, but usually what mulligan is at that point, you're only allowed to have 6 cards. So normally you would have to draw 7 cards, and then you would put 1 card of your choice onto the bottom of the deck. But if you house rule it, like with me, usually house rule with friends, we do 1 free mulligan. So it's a good way of going. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put the deck down, and we're going to draw our 7 cards. Come with me. Now, I did forget one major thing. Your life points. In Magic the Gathering, you have 20 life points in 60 card, whereas in Commander, you start out with 40 life points. So once again, we're going to focus on 60 card here, 20 life points. The whole point of the game is to, when you have no creatures defending you, the opponent is going to attack you directly. You, the wizard, the one that's summoning the spells. When that happens and they attack you, your life goes down, depending on what's going on with the creature. And we'll get into battle in another video. So we're going to go here and we're going to put it. And I love this playmat because it tells you everywhere to put it down. And if you don't have a playmat, you can definitely go ahead and purchase one anywhere. They should be on the TikTok shop. I should have some in my showcase, so you can definitely take a look at that and get any type that you like. Now let's draw our 7 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6, 7. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and look at this. And I'm going to play this just like this so you can see exactly what we have. So here we have a creature. Here we have a dual land. This land can be used for either a forest or a plains. This deck is forest and plains. It's 2 color. This one is a plains. Now, when you go through all the different types of sets, you're going to see that the lands all look different. Every set has their own lands. This game is really cool, and you're going to find really, really beautiful lands. We have another creature here. We have another creature here, because remember, read the card. Creature, legendary creature, okay, basic land, land, artifact creature, legendary enchantment creature, and another creature. So we have a decent hand here. We have 2 mana, or 2 lands, should I say. And with this deck, it's not so bad. As you can see, we have a lot of creatures that only cost 2. So we can definitely do this. So on every turn, if you go first, which you would normally roll the die, a 20-sided die or whatever it is with your friend that you're playing, your opponent, whomever goes first does not draw a card on their first turn. The person who goes second does draw a card. Now, the reason being is there is a type of move called haste. Some creatures would have haste. Remember, we would read down in here with the abilities like we explained in the last video. If they have haste, that means that they can attack on the first turn. Any creature that goes out on the battlefield has what's called summoning sickness. When it comes to summoning sickness, you can't attack and you can't tap that creature even for an ability during the first turn. Basically, that creature is able to block when you end your turn and you go into combat with your opponent. It is able to block, but on the very first turn, it's not able to attack. So when you start out with your turn, you're allowed once per turn to play a land, unless something states otherwise. However, right now we're going to go with the way it is. So we're going to play this plains, and we're going to put it right down here in the land spot. Now we're going to look at our hand, and we're going to say, can we play anything? Nope, that's 1 plains and 1 other. This is 2 plains and 3. This is 1 plain and 1 broccoli here. This is 2 plains. This is 1 broccoli and 1 other. So no, we can't play anything. So what are we going to do? We're going to say we pass. It's going to go to the opponent. The opponent's going to play off their turn exactly what we did. They're going to draw their 7 cards. They're going to draw their 8th because, remember, they went second. They can draw 1 extra. Now the opponent plays their land. They don't play any creatures, let's just say, for example. They pass. It's back to us. Now we go to what's called our upkeep. The upkeep is where you would untap anything on the field. So if I had spent this mana, if I had spent this land last turn and it was tapped, on our upkeep, we're going to untap it. Then we go to the phase of where we draw. So now we're going to draw our card. And what we just pulled was another land, as you can see here. So now remember, it's my turn, and this is a new turn, and we haven't played a land yet. So I'm going to go ahead and play another land. So now we have 2 plains lands out as of right now. So what can we do? So we can go ahead and put out this one, or we can put out this one. So I'm going to read this creature's ability. Daxel's toughness is equal to the devotion to white. Whenever another creature you control enters the battlefield or dies, you gain a life. So devotion to white, what that means in this situation is it's their mana cost, or every mana cost of every creature on there. So with him, his power and his toughness, as we explained in the last video, what this is saying is his toughness is devotion to white. So if I play him, he's going to get 2 toughness, 1, 2. So that's 2, 2. So, and then also at that same turn over here, whenever another creature you control enters the battlefield or dies, I gain a life. So I'm going to want to play him to get him out on the field so that next turn, when I play Crystal Barricade will go onto the field and then activate his ability in order for me to gain a life. At the same time, when Crystal Barricade goes out onto the field, it'll be 1 extra planes, so his defense will go up. So I'm going to go ahead, and now you have to pay for them first. I'm going to tap my mana. There's those 2 lands. We created the mana. They're floating in the ether right now. They're ready to create Daxos. Daxos goes out onto the field. There he goes. So now what happens is, since he's out on the field, his toughness is equal to the 2. So I'm going to take this die here, and I'm going to put this right down here. And I'm going to say his toughness is 2. So he's a 2/2 creature. Now, we can't go into battle. He has summoning sickness. So Daxos is good. He's just going to chill there now. And now you have nothing to do. You're exhausted. You're going to pass your turn. The opponent's going to go. They might summon a creature. They're definitely going to put a land out, because every turn, if you have a land in your hand, you're going to put a land out. Let's just say, for example, they did not. We go back to our turn. They pass. We go ahead. We draw a card again. Okay? Now what do? We're going to put out a land. So we have this land here, and I'm going to place it out. Now this one says add 1 broccoli by just tapping it, or I could add a plains and activate only if you control a forest or a plains. Now, we do have a forest and a plains, so it's great. So I can use this for either color that I want. So it's my turn. I'm placing 1 land out on the field. Now, I have a choice here. I could use this for 1 forest, and I can't play him because I do not have 2 forests. I have, this would count as 1 forest. This is a plains, and this is a plains, so I cannot play this creature. So we'll put him to the back. I can play this creature because I can use 1 forest, 1 plains. He has an ability where he taps, and you can create 1 forest, and if you control 4 or more creatures, which again, we only would have 2 if we put him out, he would give 2 forests instead. So he's really good because a creature that comes out can now give me lands. He would act as a land at that point. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll tap this for a forest and tap this for a plains. And I'll play Leafkin Druid. Now, what we need to remember is Leafkin Druid, he has summoning sickness. So he has a tap ability. We cannot use this tap ability until our very next turn. So we're going to go ahead, and this will be the end of the video, and I'll definitely go ahead and make more videos going forward. The next part would be about combat, but you just see turn-based style as it's going, that we remember 1 land per turn. We place out our creatures. Our creatures have summoning sickness unless state otherwise on the card. And that's just a regular turn for Magic the Gathering. After this, it just becomes strategy at this point. I hope everybody enjoyed. Definitely like, follow, subscribe, and let me know what you think down in the comments. Have a great day, everyone.